Joe's great.
Joe's the best. I love having Joe on. All right, we are live. We are live. This is episode 139 of the Battle of Ohio podcast. This division is wide open, man. The Bengals and Browns may technically be in third and fourth place in the division right now, but I don't think anyone can realistically say that that's permanent or anything like that. I mean, did y'all see the Ravens-Steelers game? I mean, like, the Steelers did win, but I'm not really worried about that because why, Thomas?
Because Pittsburgh sucks.
They're terrible.
I'm not.
Welcome to the Battle of Ohio podcast, where we follow the revival of the historic rivalry between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns.
George Pickens off though. He's just a boxing guy. George Pickens pretty awesome, actually.
All right. We like the one downside of using this right now is we can't actually hear the intro, and only I can actually see that it's playing. Thomas has no idea what's going on with any of this. That's
I'm just saying
the biggest roadblock I think we have right now. But anyway, I saw Jim in the chat earlier. By the way, Jim said, "Good luck. Still think the Bengals can make the playoffs," and I've got a lot of answers to that. The Browns can still make the playoffs, frankly, and the Bengals can still make the playoffs. The reason is because if Joe Burrow Joe Burrow says he's healthy, and he looked amazing against the Cardinals, and the only other team that's done that to the Cardinals this year is the 49ers. So if we're saying the 49ers are like juggernauts, then the Bengals did something similar to what the 49ers did. Then if the Bengals are all the way back, then that means Joe asked, do you guys call off the stream at 10:45 on a Thursday? Thomas is off today. I don't have class, and I work part-time at the bank and then some other stuff. So neither of us actually have work, but I don't believe we have.
I'm gonna whistle team out later today.
But I mean, the thing is, Joe, we got to find times to do it, and it is what it is. We're here. But anyway, back to Jim's question. Thanks for filling in last week, by the way, Joe. We were just talking about you. But
shout out to you.
Back to Jim's question, though. Both teams can still make the playoffs. The Bengals definitely can still make the playoffs because, like I said, did you see what they did to the Cardinals? The only other team that's done that against the Cardinals, who are actually, I think, a little bit better than people think they are this year, only other team that's done that is the 49ers. And if the Bengals are truly back, then yes, they can beat anyone. And I mean, I'm not saying that they're going 13-4 or 14-3 or anything like that. That'd be an insane prediction to make. But at the same time, they can beat anybody. So the idea, if they're back, then the idea of them going 10-7 and making the playoffs, that's, I think, pretty realistic. Especially in this division, because I mean, everybody is either 3-win or 2-win team right now. The Bengals are only one game behind the division lead. The Browns are half a game behind the division lead. So, I mean, obviously the Bengals got to get some division wins to make it happen. But if the reason that they were losing early on is because Joe Burrow wasn't 100%, and now he says that he's 100%, and by the way, he looked 100% against the Cardinals, or at least 95%. I mean, he was out there, he was scrambling, he was getting stuff done. And so, I mean, I don't know if he's definitely back to 100%, but he looks close enough to the point where I think that the Bengals are dangerous and can beat anyone. Will they beat anyone? Will they make the playoffs? That's still yet to be seen, but we started 0-2 last year and we did it. So, yeah, I think they can. Unless that was a statement because you didn't put a question mark at the end of it. So, I mean, if you think they can still make the playoffs, then that's great. But, I definitely think they can. But Thomas, what do you think about the same question as relates to the Browns?
I think that, I want to say, I think the Bengals, we're going to get into everything, the Bengals will be fine. I think the Bengals will be fine. Joe Burrow looks healthy. That was my own question about the Bengals. Is Joe Burrow looks healthy? He looks healthy. So you guys should be fine. The Browns, on the other hand, we got our ass whooped this week. After that, it should be the schedule gets very favorable for the Browns. So I think it's very likely to still make the playoffs because there's not 7 teams in the NFL that are better than the Browns. So that said, I do think the Browns still make the playoffs. It's all about getting Watson healthy. We're not going anywhere unless Watson's healthy. So I think he rests another week, get healthy. And I'll be 49 anyway. Hot tea smack.
My son was knocking on my door and pointing a toy gun in my face, so I had to stop that.
Oh yeah, school. Tell a little bit about school.
He got expelled from school. Yeah, so that's how my life's been lately. But let's talk about the Bengals and
Browns. Funny story about being expelled from school. I too have been expelled from school before, twice actually, and I'm still here kicking it today, drinking beer on a Thursday afternoon.
I think he'll be fine, but it's definitely a situation right now. But like I said, let's get back to the Bengals and Browns because that's what we're here to talk about. All right, so the AFC North is wide the hell open right now, just absolutely wide the hell open. So the Browns, my biggest concern with the Browns is I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Like,
yep.
Y'all got the 49ers coming up this week, and if he's not playing, I'm sorry, but I don't see it.
Kyle. We're not going to debate this. We're not going to argue about this. Just like the sun is in the sky, the Browns are going to lose on Sunday. Okay, can we all just agree with that? Can we just all agree with the fact? Anybody disagree with the fact that the Browns are going to lose Sunday? Anybody disagree? Anybody?
Joe says that the weather this weekend is going to be the difference maker. Joe just left that comment. He thinks that there's a chance.
It is a chance.
Which Joe's usually the more pessimistic of you two. Or at least the most realistic of you two.
Look, man, PJ Walker. I got to put my faith behind PJ Walker. Watson's not playing this week, man. He got it. Currently, he has a right shoulder conclusion. Right shoulder conclusion.
Contusion.
Yeah. Yes, that gives peace of anyway, the reason why Watson's hurt is it's an overused injury. He's been using his arm too much. Yeah, save your masturbation jokes for the comments. Yeah, whatever. But it's an overused injury because he's been throwing too much. And so it wasn't a hit. So it's a very bad situation. And the only way for you to heal an overused injury is to not use your arm. So we're not beating the 49ers anyway, so just rest them. Whatever. The schedule gets dramatically easier after the 49ers. We got the Cardinals, the Colts, Gardner Minshew, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
See, everybody is acting like the 49ers are like this completely unbeatable, like perfect football team. And I mean, are the 49ers really good? Yes, they're really good.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think that the 49ers are just like this completely unstoppable football team. I don't.
I would not be drinking a beer at 10:54 in the morning on a Thursday. I wasn't stressed out about this game.
No, I mean, I'm not saying the Browns aren't probably going to lose. Like, I mean, we can talk more about that specific train of thought in the predictions segment later. But my whole thing is like, yes, the 49ers have been generally pretty dominant this year. They had a really close game with the Rams. I'm just saying, like, yes, they've put the beat down on a few teams, but a lot of people say like, oh, the Bengals, they beat the Cardinals, but go beat a real football team. Well, the 49ers did the same thing to the Cardinals. So, I mean, if we're dismissing the Bengals, then we got to dismiss the 49ers too. They beat the shit out of the Steelers, but we know the Steelers aren't good. They beat the crap out of the Giants, but we know the Giants aren't good. And they destroy the Cowboys, but they always destroy the Cowboys. So it's like, I'm not saying that the 49ers aren't like really, really good and they're not Super Bowl contenders. But like it's not like we're dealing with the 2007 Patriots here, I don't think. I haven't seen that evidence just yet.
They're
And even
good.
they lost.
Well, I mean, okay. Brock Purdy and Tom Brady. My biggest question about the 49ers is how good is Brock Purdy really? We've seen mid quarterbacks get off hot starts like Brock Purdy has, and they come back down to earth. Baker Mayfield, he came out brazenly hot his rookie season. Baker Mayfield Baker Mayfield had a stretch. We won like 7 games in a row. It's insane. And even still, I just don't. So you're going against a good defense. The Browns still have one of the best defenses in the league. So if there's any team that could expose Brock Purdy, quote unquote, expose Brock Purdy, and nobody come at me for saying that. I'm hypothetically, if there's anything to expose Brock Purdy for, the Browns should do it with their defense. The Browns are one of the best defenses in the league. Those boys should be able to make a difference. But with that said, 49ers by 20.
49ers by 20? Glad you have some faith in your team, Thomas.
I have no faith in P.J. Walker at all.
Dude, P.J. Walker's not a bad quarterback. He's not he's not Deshaun Watson, but first of all, he dominated the XFL. And then he came to the NFL, and he was obviously he wasn't perfect, but he was on and off serviceable. So
he was playing. He had more talent in Cleveland than he did in Carolina. That's for sure. Man, maybe let's see. Don't talk me into this. Don't talk me into this, Kyle. Don't talk me into this. Trap game. You already hear myself already. Oh, it's a trap game for the Browns. We got a long podcast. I might sway the other way by the end.
I was like, don't give me hope, please.
It's not looking good.
I can't take it.
No, I mean, look. The thing is that the biggest question is if Watson is going or not. I don't think he is. Unless he practices today. If he don't practice today, he's not going. Keep an eye on that update because we probably got an update. Keep an eye on Twitter because we probably got an update while we're doing the podcast if he's practicing today or not. So it just matters if Deshaun Watson's practicing or not.
Ken would like you to know that you got to believe.
I got 0. I just scoffed down this Miller High Life. I have 0. I'll give me another beer. Stay tuned. I might go grab another one. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, that does kind of seem like the life of a Cleveland Browns fan, scarfing down Miller High Lifes at 11 a.m. Oh boy. Joe says any underdogs in which is why underdogs win in this hugely lopsided matchup. KC, Denver, Miami, Carolina, Philadelphia, New York Jets, Buffalo, Giants. Well, again, we'll get into the predictions later. But I don't know. I'm not.
Honestly,
we'll talk about it more later. But I wouldn't be shocked to see the Giants beat the Bills.
Yeah, me neither, low key. Like when you said it, I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I might throw the money down.
I mean, we're talking about the Giants practice squad at this point. They're so injured to hell and back. But at the same time, the Bills. The Bills
got a bad marriage going on, man. You see it. I seen a couple bad marriages. I see it, man. Bitch, I hate you. Bitch, you ugly. Bitch, you dick little.
What is exactly is yeah, I got you. What exactly is going on with Deshaun Watson and his injury? Like, is there a timetable on it, or are we just kind of week to week and we don't know if he's going to play any of these given weeks or what's going on?
Honestly, Kyle, dude, look, let me tell you, I read about 15 articles. This is the exact number. I counted 15 articles, 24 tweets from highly respected reporters on Twitter yesterday. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on with his shoulder. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what right arm rotators cup contusion is. If I'm being honest, when I hear rotators cup contusion and throwing shoulder, that doesn't sound good at all. That sounds like a season ender, if I'm being honest. That sounds like I never heard of a rotator's cuff injury being just like a small injury. But you know what I mean? Maybe it's bruised, maybe it is overuse. So from what I read about it, it's an overuse injury. And they say there's no structure damage. That's what they say. But a part of me feel like the way they're talking about it is they're lying about something, which creates more fear, which is the elephant in the room that a lot of Cleveland fans don't want to hear that Deshaun Watson might have injured his throwing shoulder.
That would be the most like Cleveland Browns luck of all time.
That was the most Cleveland Browns luck of all time. And that's why I haven't really been talking about it, because that's kind of like my deepest darkest fear right now. Because like, why are they being so secretive about everything? Like, they're not giving us nothing. So,
well, I mean,
part of me got to assume the worst.
In fairness, that's just kind of standard protocol with like coaches. They try to give as little information as they can to the media so that they can keep what they can close to the vest. Some coaches are better at it than others. Zach Taylor is phenomenal at it, which is sometimes to my own chagrin, as you know, we knew like from the whole Joe Burrow injury. Like I was thinking that the Bengals were faking Joe Burrow's injury, if you recall, throughout like most of the offseason. But like, you know, we get to the actual season and it takes 4 weeks for him to look like, you know, he can actually like move. So obviously the injury was more serious than I thought. But the reason for that is because Zach Taylor is just a master at basically, you know, not giving you any information on what's going on. Kevin Stefanski, I'm not as familiar with how good he is at that. But at the same time, that's what he wants to do. So I mean, like it could be it could be a big deal. It could not be a big deal, but they're going to go the same direction either way. Like you're not going to hear much, especially if they're not really sure what's going on, because that could be the case too. It could be the case that like, you know, Deshaun Watson has an injury and they don't really quite know the extent of it, because I mean, like unless you like physically open him up and go in there and see what's going on, you're really just kind of like playing at like educated guesses.
You know, let me say this though. They did MRIs reportedly. Mary Kay Capman Mary Kay Capman don't usually lie. Usually she says stuff usually true. She said there's no structure damage in the arm, as well as Ian Rappaport said there's no structure damage. So very respected reporters have all said that there's no structure damage in the shoulder. Again, we want to let everything go. So I have to believe that there isn't any structure damage. But at the end of the day, his throwing shoulder, and like, look, people call it whatever they want. People call it whatever they want. They call him soft, they call it loser mentality or whatever. If your throwing shoulder is hurt, the shoulder that you use to throw the ball is hurting right now. And it's an overuse injury. And it's the shoulder that you use to throw the ball. I will rest him next week. No doubt. It's not even a question. Rest him. It's not even an appetite. Rest him. Call it whatever you want. Like, oh, you were your ass beat by the 49ers. Fine. Get your ass beat by the 49ers. The thing is that we get our ass beat by the 49ers and Deshaun Watson's ready to go next week, our season's not over. If Deshaun Watson goes out there and get a bad hit by the 49ers and he's out for the rest of the season, we're done. And it's going to be an even longer season than anything else. Rest that motherfucker. Rest him. Don't play.
So I know it's not the same injury, but it's kind of similar in the idea that, you know, we're not sure there's any real structural damage or anything like that. But to be clear, or to be fair, you said the same thing about Joe Burrow. And like, I mean, yeah, it took him a few weeks to get healthy, but he did get healthy by playing through it. And
Yeah.
It honestly, like, if he is healthy now, if like, the Cardinals game wasn't just like an anomaly and he is genuinely healthy, then it might, I understand why they did what they did, because like at the very least, Joe playing through that got him some, like if they probably would have lost all those games, including the Rams game, if Jake Browning was playing. So I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't make a difference to the final result, but it might have made a difference to how like ready he was. Like if he just rests for the first 4 weeks because his like injury isn't getting better, and then like week 5, it's like, oh hey, I'm ready to go. But like by then potentially you're like 0-4 at that point. And also you got like a cold Joe Burrow going out there. Like he hasn't played all season. The last time he took any meaningful snaps was like back in like July or something like that. And that wasn't even meaningful snaps. That was like training camp. But like, he basically hasn't done anything up until that entire point. So the fact of the matter is, if he is definitely healthy now, then him playing through the first 4 weeks probably is part of the reason why he had such a good week in week 5 against the Cardinals. And so that's my thing about Tom Watson. Like, depending on the injury, if it's the kind of thing that isn't just necessarily going to get better with rest, like with Joe Burrow's injury, like a lot of doctors came out and said, like, hey, you rest him for a couple of weeks, it's not necessarily going to get any better. So like, I mean, it's like you either rest him for the season or you just have him play through it. So I guess that's the question. Like, we don't know the extent of Deshaun Watson's injury. It could be the case that it might make more sense just to play through it. If it's the kind of thing that's just going to get better by itself over time, and like all the rest of the world isn't going to make a difference. It's kind of hard to say because we don't know exactly what the extent of the injury is. But I also do understand, and I'm not saying I agree. Obviously, not being a Browns fan, my perspective is going to be a little skewed anyway. But I'm not saying I agree with the Browns fans who are like criticizing him for he's making the decision not to play. Like, it's not like the Browns are keeping him out. Deshaun Watson is saying, I'm not going out there. And a lot of Browns fans, I'm not terribly. I understand. Like I said, I'm not saying I agree, but I understand why they're saying, like, we paid you like all this insane amount of money. We took a gigantic reputation risk on bringing you in here, and you're just going to choose not to play when the doctors say you're healthy enough to play. Like, I understand that. And that also, from what I understand, potentially is creating tension in the locker room as well. So maybe it might be a good idea for him to just like go out there, depending on the extent of the injury.
It's his throwing shoulder. Is his throwing shoulder that
So
he can't lift? No, he can't even lift. He can't even throw it 10 yards. That's the last report that we had. That's why I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's worse than what they're telling us. Because how do you want to not be able to throw 10 yards unless something's bad? Like, imagine not being able to walk, and you go like, it's fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like, football players do it all the time. Look at David Njoku. That's another guy I wanted to talk about. Dude, like, suffered crazy burns on his face, and we went out there and played anyway. Like, I'm just saying you could manipulate your game plan to like Deshaun Watson. Maybe he throws short passes, does a lot of dump offs, and then you're relying on Kareem Hunt to be a lot of your offense. That might be better than like expecting DTR to go out there, or potentially expecting PJ Walker to go out there.
They're going to PJ Walker over DTR. They came on and said that.
I meant when they did have DTR in there.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is though, is that like when Joe said it's going to be a weather game, that's even more of a reason why I'm like, nah. I mean, this is an overuse injury, so this isn't something that will get better if he gets hit. I just really think that he just needs to. I guess my thing is, I think the injury is worse than what they're telling us.
Well, that could be the case, but again, they might not know. Like, if you're right, they might not know that you're right. They might not be trying to hide it. It might just be like it could be worse. And like if they did an MRI and saw no structural damage, how are they supposed to? I don't think they're gonna straight up lie about that. They're not going to tell you the MRI came back negative if it didn't.
They might lie, actually.
They could, but I'm pretty sure there are like implications for doing something like that with like the NFL as a whole. So like, I mean, if they get caught doing
So we never did do anything like that before. It's the same team that had general manager texting plays down to the freaking coach. We lost draft picks because of that.
I know that's why I'm thinking maybe you wouldn't want to do it again. Like if Jimmy Haslam hasn't learned his lesson from that, then maybe Jimmy Haslam needs to sell the team. Then again, you know, obviously that's something that Browns fans are regularly saying anyway. But
I mean, here's the thing: people in trouble, fly in trouble. And just like me when I was a kid, man, you know, I was telling my parents the last time I get in trouble. Next thing you know, I lay a tongue on a teacher's shoulder and I'm expelled from school. You don't know what happened. And that's how it happened. True story. 14-year-old Thomas was a wild man. My whole thing is that I'm just not in a good place right now with this team. I'm scared. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep. So, I mean, this is a really rough transition, but I'm gonna like throw things back to the Bengals. The Bengals are in fourth place in this division right now.
Not for long.
And well, that's what I'm saying. I like a lot of people. Now, granted, it's probably because we're coming off of a win, but like the Bengals community as a whole has been a little more optimistic this week than they were in previous weeks. Which, I mean, me too, to be fair. But you've still seen some of those like gloom and doom posts, but you haven't seen quite as many of them in recent weeks. And the reason for that is because like this team came out against the Arizona Cardinals, who are they're an NFL football team. I mean, they're 1-4. They're not amazing. They have Josh Dobbs starting at quarterback, but we also have seen Josh Dobbs not be terrible too, as well in the past.
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is the Bengals put together a complete game against a real NFL football team, and there wasn't really much doubt at all that the Bengals were going to come away with this win throughout the game. I mean, like, if you watched my live stream, you'll know that, I went through the emotions like I always do. Like, they're going to win, they're going to lose. Like, this crazy play. If we lose because of that, I'm going to lose my shit and shit. But I mean, that's just because I'm a passionate fan in the moment. But like, really, when you kind of sit back and look at it, the Bengals were in pretty strong control throughout the game. Actually, if you look at the like ESPN does this like win probability graph for each game, and there are literally only 2 points that I can see over the course of the entire game. One was when Joe Burrow threw an incompletion on second down when the Cardinals had the lead, I guess. So at that point, the win probability briefly dipped like by less than a percentage point in favor of the Cardinals. Oh no, there's also this 52.8%, which is when the Bengals went 3 and out and had to punt. Okay, so for a very brief period of time, the Cardinals had like a higher win probability than the Bengals, and then there's like this other point that happens like late in the second quarter that is so brief that I can't actually even track it on the on the win probability. But other than those two very minuscule little points, the Bengals were like heavily favored to win this game throughout most of the game. And that was with, maybe not the best, like at one point they got out to what, like a 10-0 lead, and then they let the Cardinals, like score 14 unanswered points. And so through that point, it wasn't feeling as good, but at the same time, like I said, only for a very brief period of time did it actually feel like the Cardinals were, going to upset the Bengals and take over this game. And a big part of that reason is because Jamar Chase had another Jamar Chase game. Like 3 touchdowns, Thomas. He had 3 touchdowns. He had 192 yards. That's like, I think that's like the crazy thing is 192 yards is like the 3rd best game, or maybe like the 4th best game of Jamar Chase's career. Like it's not even like notably awesome that he got 192 yards. That's how insane Jamar Chase can be when he's on point. And Joe Burrow did throw an interception, but it's also only like his like 2nd interception of the year or something like that.
Yeah, man, like Jamar Chase is insane. I like Jamar Chase a lot.
Yeah.
I actually want a lot
Jamar
of money
Chase
on
is
him.
something special.
I want a lot of money on him.
Yeah.
Hey, Jamar.
So I lied. It's actually Joe Burrow's third interception of the season. He threw one against the Ravens and then threw one against the Rams, although we still won that game. And then actually in the majority of games Joe Burrow's thrown an interception in this year, we won. Which is interesting because like we beat the Rams and the Cardinals. We lost against the Ravens. However, we came really close with the Ravens too. So I mean, like that's kind of like when people are talking about like doom and gloom and everything like that. Like, don't forget we were really close with the Ravens in that game. Like that game easily. That game easily, and it didn't go in the Bengals' favor, and that sucks because of like it's going to affect standings and stuff like that, obviously. But like at the end of the day, the Bengals came away from that game, and like they almost came back at the end. Like I mean, like yeah, they got down. What was it, like 27-17 in the fourth quarter? But like I mean, they were fighting at the end, and they brought it back within 3 points with like 3 minutes left to go. If the defense had done their job, they might have been able to even tie it and take it into overtime, and then who knows what happens, right? And that was with Joe Burrow on one leg too. So, I mean, let's say you plug a healthy Joe Burrow into that game, Bengals probably win that game. And then suddenly we're 3-2. We're at the top of the division. And then we're no longer talking about like, oh, can the Bengals make the playoffs? We're talking about, oh, the Bengals are definitely expected to make the playoffs. Maybe it's been a bit of a rougher year than we thought it was going to be, but it's definitely not going to be like a miss the playoffs type of year. So, I mean, we're literally like a handful of plays away from that being the narrative right now, rather than like, oh, the Bengals gonna get it together. Like it'd be more like, the narrative would be more like, oh, are you worried that the Bengals might like fall apart because it hasn't been as good as you thought it was going to be this year? That would be more so the narrative if just like a couple plays go different in that Ravens game.
Yeah, no, I mean, think about that. I think about the fact that Browns should be 3-1 if a couple plays went differently in the Steelers game.
Yeah.
The Bengals, it will be fine. Like our schedule, both our schedules get easy, so I'm not really worried about it. I think y'all have the 49ers left on your schedule. Other than that, y'all get to feud the 49ers later in the season. So, early in the season, teams look like superheroes when they start to weather as the season goes on. So I really do think the 49ers probably going to hit a wall later in the season. You guys have probably a chance to catch them off guard later in the season. I do think the Steelers are going to come back down to earth. I think the Ravens are going to come back down to earth a little more. I don't really think the Ravens are that good, honestly. I really am not impressed by the Ravens. Even with them beating the Browns, they beat the back quarterback. I don't know, man. People telling me, man, the Ravens don't really impress me that much. I mean, Lamar's throwing the ball better, which is good for him. But the one thing I hate about watching the Steelers and the Ravens is how slow they play. Like, it's so frustrating that every single time either one of these teams snap the ball, they got to take all 40 seconds off the clock before they snap. Like, they are so slow. It is so frustrating. It's like, snap the damn ball. Play the damn game. What's our time? But they just be chilling there, man. I want the Ravens. I'm so pissed off just sitting there. They're up like 21-0. And they were just jogging to the live scrimmage and chilling. They were just talking to each other, giggling and stuff. I'm not playing the damn game, buddy. Right.
Well, to be fair, if it's 21-0, they're probably trying to kill clock on purpose.
Man, look. They don't run 7-0. Shit. The Steelers do it when you're down by 10. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, the Steelers are insane. Like the Steelers are legitimately like, I don't know what they're
the Steelers. But
you want to know something? You want to know a crazy stat? And I think this illustrates just how bad the AFC North has been through the first like 5 weeks of the season. You know who the leading quarterback in the division right now in terms of touchdowns is?
Kenny Pickett.
Yes. It's actually a tie between Kenny Pickett and Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow, by the way, is only there because he threw 3 touchdowns against the Cardinals last year. So I mean, like before the Cardinals game, Joe Burrow was at the bottom of the division, and they looked like there was really no hope. I mean, like we've gotten nothing. Like Lamar Jackson's like probably been like overall throughout the whole season so far. Like obviously not like long term like period, but like throughout the whole season so far, Lamar Jackson's probably been the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, but
that tells you how bad everybody else has been.
She hasn't been that good either, honestly. Because when you think about it,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't look that good against Indianapolis, nor he looked that good against who else played? Who else? The Steelers. He looked horrible with the Steelers. That's the other thing. How are the Steelers winning these games? How the Steelers keep winning these games?
I agree with that perspective, and I've been asking the same thing about Mike Tomlin teams for years, so we already have our answer on that one. As far as like Lamar Jackson, I actually looked into it a little deeper. Lamar Jackson actually had a pretty good game, like just by himself, like purely himself. If you look at the stats, it's not going to tell you that, but Lamar Jackson actually was on point. He was making some really good plays out there. But the Ravens had 7 drops. 2 of them were in the end zone. So like the only really bad play he had through the entire game was that like interception he threw to Joey Porter Jr., which was obviously the critical ending point of the game. Well, even then it wasn't, because they were still like the Ravens still had like another drive after that, and then he fumbled. So like obviously, if you look at just like the final couple like plays that Lamar Jackson had, it's not going to look very good. But over the course of the whole game, Lamar Jackson actually was really, really good, and he just got completely let down by the rest of his team.
I kind of retort that a little bit, because a lot of times drop balls aren't because of the receiver not being able to catch. Sometimes the quarterback actually threw a bad pass, and that could be them not putting enough touch on the ball. Like I see the Baker Mayfield, and like at first I thought people were crazy, and like, dang man, I would mad Baker Mayfield for he drop balls, and like because he's throwing a bullet 5 yards down the field, and there's no touch on the ball, and a lot of times like touch matters in certain weather conditions. So if you don't put touch on the ball, a receiver's more likely to drop it. Angle, right. Positions, what I mean? So, I remember watching the game. I remember watching a play where I was like, you put way too much mustard on that ball. And I can see it from the CD. There ain't no way. Like, I can see why you dropped that ball. Like, I can't remember what it was, but I can see it in my head. I can see him throw it in my head like 1,000 miles per hour. I'm like, damn, you put way too much, like, heat on that ball. Like, it's only like 97. Sometimes, a nice, easy little 82 mile per hour curveball gets a strikeout.
So I didn't notice that with Lamar Jackson, that was what was going on. But again, I wasn't there. I'm not Lamar Jackson. I'm not those receivers. So like I can't tell you exactly how Lamar Jackson threw the ball and if that affected things. But from what I could tell, his accuracy was on point. His decision making was on point. He was finding the right receivers. He was getting it to them, and they were just like, nah. Dead hands.
His accuracy has gotten better. His accuracy has gotten better. OBJ still that man can't
OBJ sucks. I ain't worried about OBJ. Did you hear Joey Porter Jr. told him to go be a family man after that interception? That was funny.
Oh, dude. The thing that frustrates me about that game is Phillies won, and I figured it out. The reason why Phillies won the game is, like I said, slow the game down and make every single play matter, because they snap the ball with literally 1 to 5 seconds left on the clock. No matter what the situation is, no matter what it is. Seriously, you don't believe me? Go watch the Steelers Ravens game. Watch them do it in the first quarter. Like, I'm not kidding. They play with no pace. So they make every single play matter, especially at home where they can build up the pressure. They manifest pressure by slowing the game down. It's magical.
I mean, once again, Mike Tomlin gets the job done. So at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to argue against it.
No, I thought it was just frustrating. It's like, come on, man. How y'all want to play the game? Like, come on, man. Fuck
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into the predictions, though. We're well into this episode and probably went a little over the time we should have, but I think we both had a lot to say there.
Yeah, fuck it.
All right, so we're gonna go. By the way, everybody, these are Joe's picks because he didn't want to. I don't know if he's leaving or if he just doesn't want to comment during the things, but those are Joe's picks. Yeah, just as we're talking, make sure to tell us your picks, and I will put a link to the Pick'em League if you're not already in it.
I want you to pick this week, I promise.
Okay. If you're not already in the Pick'em League, I'll go ahead and send a link, and you could basically join at any time. It goes off of percentage, not so much off of record. So I mean, you can join at any time, really. Yeah, there's a lot of season left. Let me go ahead and get this link real quick. I'm gonna put that in chat. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into these games and start picking them. All right. So first we got the Denver Broncos and Kansas City Chiefs. That game is tonight in Kansas City. So I'll go ahead and let you go first, Thomas.
You said the Broncos versus Chiefs tonight?
Broncos and Chiefs.
Is it in Denver?
No, I just said it's in Kansas City.
Kansas City by 20 home.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was gonna try to like play this up a little bit, like, man, I think the Broncos might have a chance. No, it's gonna be Kansas City, but no, I don't even feel like playing it up that much. Like the Broncos are just a disaster. Like, and like Russell Wilson has been all right this year, but I think it's a similar problem that Russell Wilson had in Seattle as the stretch kind of went down. Like it's not that Russell Wilson's a bad quarterback. It's just that he's taken up so many resources and he can't do it all himself. He's never really been able to do it all himself. He's only really been successful when he's had a really good team around him. And right now the Broncos are a disaster. So like Russell Wilson can't really, I mean, like he's playing good on his own, but just he can't do it all himself. All right. I'm gonna let you go first again on this next one, and I will be right back. But the next one is Atlanta Falcons hosting the Washington Commanders.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead and I might be a second, so go ahead and give a very long-winded explanation.
Do I believe in commies or the Falcons? Well, so the Falcons got this boy named Ritter from Cincinnati, former quarterback. He alright. No, he's not. I mean, I'm only mad at the Commanders because they lost that game last week against the Bears. And I actually hadn't beaten the Bears. So the commies aren't really that good. So it's like trash versus trash right here. I'm actually going to go with the commies. I think the commies to win the game. They could have won the 1986 Olympics against the United States, though. We whooped that ass. Fucking commies. Yep. You know, I'll be thinking. These are flaming hot chips by LeBron James. The jury had flaming hot chips. I mean, you're pretty damn good. Not as good as the Commanders, though. Commanders suck. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, way better than the Commanders. The Commanders not good teams. That jokes for all you LeBron sexuals out there. The LeBron James sexuals. I consider myself LeBron James carries. Commanders. Commanders. I can't hear you.
Yeah, muted muted my microphone. I didn't hear any of that because I had to deal with the situation. Quite annoying. It's the second time it's happened during this podcast, but I missed it. Who did you pick?
Oh, the Commanders.
The Commanders. Okay.
Yep, and LeBron James.
What about LeBron James?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll look through it later. I'll figure out what you're talking about. But so I'm gonna go with the Falcons because I just don't. I don't really. Right now, I don't buy the Commanders. Like Sam Howell has been impressive. It's been a lot better than I thought he was going to be. But it's just like the rest, like the Commanders' defense is awful. Even Terry McLaurin, who's supposed to be like their big like Terry McLaurin's supposed to be like the one guy on the Commanders who's always good, and I mean he hasn't done hardly anything this year. Now I think that's like a chemistry and rapport issue with Sam Howell. Like they might just not like be vibing or anything like that. But whatever the case, there's something wrong with the Commanders and the Falcons. While the Falcons aren't great, they are 3-2. They are putting things together, and Desmond Ridder is Desmond Ridder. But I mean, whatever they're doing, it's kind of working. And so up against a bad team like the Commanders, who just lost to the Chicago Bears,
the
Bears.
Bears.
The Bears. Like that's
the Bears.
I know the Bears. Whatever Bears it is, it's the Bears, and they just lost to them. So I have no faith in the Commanders right now. I'm going to take the Falcons, and I'm not saying the Falcons are like some big awesome team or anything like that. I just think the Commanders are awful right now.
The NFC sucks, man. The NFC sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking myself into the Browns.
Well, we'll get to that at the end. That would be fascinating if the Browns win, though. But next game we got is the Vikings and Bears.
Jim Fields was good last week, but I don't think he's going to Vikings.
Right.
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Bears. I like this week, by the way. We're disagreeing a lot, and I enjoy that because it makes for a much more interesting segment. But
no, it is close.
well, here's the thing. I don't buy the Vikings at all. The Vikings look as bad as they were supposed to be last year, but they're actually losing the games this time. The Bears. The Bears aren't particularly good, but I have one thing I've noticed, Thomas, and I was so unbelievably right about this when it happened that I will continue gloating forever. But ever since the Bears traded away Chase Claypool, Justin Fields has been on a heater. Like he's thrown 4 touchdowns I was just talking about Joe Burrow threw 3 touchdowns and how awesome that is. Justin Fields has produced 4 touchdowns for the Bears in both of the last 2 weeks. Like Chase Claypool was deactivated last week, and then this week he got traded. And suddenly the Bears offense is doing really, really well. Like I don't know if it's all Claypool's fault, but all I'm telling you is what happened. So I think the Bears are going to win because I think the Bears offense, now the Bears defense is still pretty suspect, but the Bears offense, I think, is kind of starting to kind of bring it together. And the Vikings, I just don't believe in at all.
Yeah, Claypool might be a distraction.
Yeah.
Claypool might be a cancer.
Joe says the Bears are trending up right now, which I agree. Like, I mean, I'm not saying to like watch out for the Bears or anything like that, but I am saying it's kind of a similar situation to the Bengals. Like, we went into the season with like some expectations for the Chicago Bears, at least more than we've had in recent months or recent years, and they weren't doing well. But it's like when you could see them kind of get something together, you're like, well, there's still something with this team. And the way they played against the Commanders last week and the Broncos before that week, not the Broncos, but the way they played against the Commanders makes me think that there's something to the Bears. And again, they're going up against a team in the Vikings that just has nothing together. So
I just trust Kirk Cousins over Justin Fields more. And
that's saying
you know,
something because I don't trust Kirk Cousins with anything. Not that I trust Justin Fields, but
I mean that's what I'm saying. I trust Kirk Cousins. You know how football quarterbacks. Is Kirk Cousins? Are you better than Kirk Cousins or are you worse than Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins, right here.
Right. And frankly, like Justin Fields has been taking a lot of heat this year. I think Justin Fields is above the Kirk Cousins line.
You think he's above?
Well, no, I don't actually, because we've had this argument before. I think Kirk Cousins is like is like his ceiling right now is a top 10 quarterback, but it's number 10.
Yeah,
like where he's actually living right now. I think Kirk's more like number 13, 12, 13, kind of in that range. And Justin Fields, I mean, the way Justin Fields been playing the last 2 weeks, he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. Now, what is that? Is that who he permanently is? I don't necessarily think so, but Justin Fields is up there, man.
So we're saying right now, Kirk Cousins is batting over. It's like a batting average. You can go under or over 300. So right now, he's above Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins? No, Kirk Cousins is not doing it. Justin Fields, yes.
Yeah, it's because above the Kirk Cousins line right now.
Yes. Actually, Justin Fields has been doing quite well lately. I don't think he's necessarily going to stay at that level of production, but yeah, he has been doing quite well. And he's going up against the Vikings defense, which is just like horrendous against like at stopping the passing game right now. So
I mean, Justin Jefferson's pretty good.
Justin Jefferson's on IR.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, for real?
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, I'm taking a picture of the Bears.
Okay, there you go. All right, yeah. Honestly, I forgot about that until you mentioned it, and it just made me more sure that the Bears are going to win.
Bears, Bears going to win.
All right, so we got Panthers Dolphins in Miami. This one's going to be like just like the Chiefs Broncos game, man. This one's tough for me.
Panthers Dolphins. Panthers Dolphins. I don't think the Panthers could withstand a hurricane, but a Dolphin can. So for that reason, I'm going with the Dolphin.
Yeah, I'm not. There's nothing to talk about here. The Dolphins are clearly like a top 5 team in the NFL right now. Again, like I'm saying with a lot of these other teams, I'm not saying the Dolphins are going to stay there, because I mean, just like look at history alone. But the Dolphins are crazy right now as far as like offense goes. Like clearly, bringing Tyreek Hill to Miami was such a win for them. And like I don't think anybody really realized how much of a win that was going to be, because like everybody knew that was going to be like a thing, but nobody knew it was going to be like this much of a problem. Tyreek Hill has made such a difference there in Miami.
He's good, man.
He's insane.
I thought was that top 5 receiver one day.
Don't you got Amari Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I miss Josh Gordon. I miss Prime Gordon. The NFL literally took Josh Gordon away from us. Why? Did he smoke weed? Who cares?
No, it's because he played for the Browns.
Yeah, pretty much. If he smoked weed in Colorado, he would have been fine.
Well,
that sucks.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. So we got the Indianapolis Colts going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2 teams that I can't really get a peg on right now.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm going to go with the Jaguars because I just don't have no faith in Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. No, I agree. If Anthony Richardson was playing, I might go the other direction. It's not that I have no faith in Gardner Minshew. I think he's a serviceable backup, but I don't. And this could be the Gardner Minshew revenge game.
Could be.
Because like the Jaguars didn't want to pay him and they replaced him with Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, the Jaguars, they just beat the Bills, if I'm not mistaken, and like
they beat the Bills, but
and Indianapolis, man, their offensive line is so bad.
Yeah.
Like
the Jaguars also got like destroyed by the Texans, and I mean, like it's been inconsistent from the Jaguars to say.
Yeah, maybe for a couple weeks to see that. I'm gonna go with Jaguars.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Jaguars are going to take that game. Next up, we got Saints Texans. 2 teams that I thought were going to be. Well, okay, so I thought the Saints were going to be like like not a playoff team, but not necessarily horrible. But like I thought the Texans were going to be like, bottom feeders, and they've been not too bad this year. They're 2-3, but it's a strong 2-3.
CJ Stroud's good, man. CJ Stroud's good. He might have broken the Ohio State curse.
Well, I mean, like I said before, I think Justin Fields is better than people give him credit for. So
I think CJ Stroud's better than Justin Fields.
That might be the case. I'm just saying I think Justin Fields might have broken the curse.
Either way, I'm going with CJ Stroud. The Texans over the Saints.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Saints in this game. It's close. These two teams are both a lot better than I expected this year. But I think the Saints have more weapons. It's really just kind of it's going to come down to how those defenses perform. But like the Saints have really been impressing me, and the Texans have been like kind of impressing me. But I mean, there's definitely like a limit to it. Yeah. They're like a strong 2-3. But if they had won one of those games, I'd call it a weak 3-2. You know, like they're right at about where they should be.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. I thought they'd go on 17 this year or on 17 this year. They're doing pretty good.
All right. So speaking of teams that are not good, we got the Patriots and the Raiders in a game that I'm not sure anybody's going to watch.
I'm going to go with the Raiders. Only the Patriots are unbelievably bad. It's insane.
Yeah. No, I
maybe might be time for Bill Belichick to retire.
Josh McDaniels is not a great coach, but I don't think he's so bad that they're not going to get one over the Patriots. Like honestly, like Thomas, I'm trying to think right now. Other than Mac Jones, can you like just off the top of your head without like, looking it up or giving it that much thought, can you name a player on the Patriots other than Mac Jones?
Taylor Zappi.
Bailey Zappi, the backup quarterback. Okay. But you got his name wrong too. So I mean, like, I think, is Matt Judon still on the Patriots? I mean, that's a guy. I think Matt Judon might still be. But even then, I'm not 100% sure if he is or not. Ramondre Stevenson, he's a good running back. So I mean, they got a little bit of talent on the Patriots, but it kind of reminds me of the Bengals a few years back when the Bengals had talent in various positions, but it was so scattered that the team as a whole was trash. And that's kind of where the Patriots are at right now. They need so much help in so many different places, and possibly most importantly at quarterback. I tried to tell people a few years back, like, how the hell is Mac Jones being talked about as a first-round quarterback? Mac Jones is about as good as AJ McCarron, quite frankly.
Damn.
And AJ McCarron is currently on the Bengals practice squad.
Damn. That man was a champion at Alabama.
Well, so was AJ McCarron.
Damn, that just fucked my brain. I was talking about AJ McCarron, not Mac Jones. I was talking about AJ McCarron, not Mac Jones, and I just realized.
Oh yeah, wow. So was Mac Jones then, for that matter.
Damn.
But right. I mean, like, we talk about the Ohio State curse of quarterback, but like Alabama really genuinely has the only good quarterback Alabama's had has been Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, well, that too, yeah. Well, another reason why I like college. Another reason why I like college football. Freaking Patrick Mahomes got a losing record in college football.
Yeah.
Fuck college football.
Well, yeah, honestly, like that says something about Patrick Mahomes, but what it really says more about is Cliff Kingsbury, which I still to this day cannot figure out how the hell he got hired by the Cardinals.
I love hearing Ohio State fans reason why they picked Jason Garrett over Joe Burrow. I love hearing Ohio State fans reason that. Like, it'd be cracking me up. It wasn't his turn. Joe Burrow is clearly the better quarterback than J.D. Garrett. J.D. Garrett picked up the ball 15 yards. But why is it about J.D. Garrett? What did J.D. Garrett do for your Ohio State? Man, suck, man. He
At
sucked.
the same time, Joe Burrow was kind of floundering. Like at Ohio State, he was kind of floundering. He wasn't getting the support he needed, and he was injured. And he was, like Ohio State fans try to claim Joe Burrow, and my perspective is like all y'all did is piss him off.
Yeah,
but this is the only thing. Like Ohio State. Joe Burrow, I think, is a Ohio State fan, so he'll talk about how much being there meant to him and stuff like that. So that's great. But if you actually look at what happened, like Ohio State almost ruined Joe Burrow's career by just basically not really giving him an opportunity.
Hey, man, J.T. Barrett's boy, though, right? You suck Ohio State. I hate y'all.
What's J.T. Barrett even doing these days?
I don't know, but like that's how I feel about Ohio State fans. Ohio State fans are like, ugh, fuck y'all, man. Go Michigan.
So according to Wikipedia, J.T. Barrett is currently a assistant quarterback coach for the Lions. So for what that's worth, he did play. He was only ever he only actually ever made one roster in the NFL, and that was like 3 years after he actually got into the NFL. No, it was 1 year. So in his
he can't do the ball. He got a noodle arm, man. This motherfucker got a noodle arm. I never seen somebody with. I mean, at least Lamar Jackson got a strong arm. Dave Barrett don't got that, man. That man got a noodle arm.
Did you know? Looks like I had no idea, but did you know that J.T. Barrett was technically a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers at one time?
No, I don't know.
Like the Steelers are the only team that J.T. Barrett actually like made the roster, really. And even then, he didn't really make the roster. He signed like a future reserve contract, and he was like on the practice squad. But he was there for a little bit, but like he never actually played in a game. And then he went to like some league called the Spring League.
Yeah, that makes sense. He can't go to the wall.
He didn't even do anything in the CFL. So I'm no real disrespect to JT Barrett necessarily, but it is kind of crazy. I know it was a bad situation for Joe Burrow at Ohio State, which is part of the reason why he transferred. But at the same time, like it is kind of crazy. How do you pick JT Barrett over Joe Burrow?
Urban Meyer sucks, bro. You know what's funny about that? I wish I could take those stats and time travel it, send it to 2015 me, when I'm at Ohio University telling people how bad this motherfucker is. Yeah.
All right. So next we got the Lions and the Buccaneers. Sorry, I was listening to what you're saying, but we can't.
Yeah, we agree along. This is gonna be the game. I think Big Mayfield might have the game, but the Lions been hot. Who's home?
Buccaneers.
You're on the Bucks. I'm on the Bucks.
Okay.
The home field advantage is different for me. That's it. That's literally the difference for me.
I'm kind of with you as far as like I'm having trouble picking this game. The Lions are a really good football team right now. The Buccaneers are the Buccaneers are a really good football team. Like they haven't been perfect, but they're 3-1. I mean, I think the Lions are the better team though, so I'm going to take the Lions. But like, I mean, you know as well as anybody, I believe in Baker Mayfield. I think he's a good quarterback. And I think the Buccaneers have a good team around him too. So I mean, the Buccaneers could win this game, especially because it's in Tampa. I think the Lions are the better team, so I'm going to take the Lions.
Okay.
All right. So next you got the Arizona Cardinals, who so you got the battle of the only two teams that have lost to the Bengals this year. That's the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams.
You know what? Give me Josh Dobbs for the Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
They make better this year.
I don't know. Cooper Kupp's back with the Rams, so it's hard for me to not pick the Rams. I think both of these teams are a little underrated. Like not like severely underrated. I don't think either of them are particularly good, but I don't think either of them are as bad as we thought they were going to be going into this year. Rams got Cooper Kupp back, and it's in LA, so I'm going to take the Rams.
Sure.
All right, next we got the Eagles and the Jets. This one's in New Jersey.
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles. Yeah, I mean, I think Zach Wilson has shown us that he's, not as bad as we all thought he was, but that's still not going to be enough against the Eagles. Come on.
I mean, unless the first section is still with no age women, so Zach Wilson having a great game. Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles are really
Zach
good
Wilson.
here. So.
Zach Wilson love the women from '80s. Love it.
I mean, he saw that Donna Kels was at that was in attendance at that game with the Chiefs. So, just saying.
That's that Cleveland mother booty, man. That Cleveland mother booty, man. Different, man.
All right. Next, we got the Giants and the Bills. What you got?
We said this earlier. I see the Giants beating Bills. I really can. I love the Bills. Barely. Because that was a bad loss. They didn't look good. They didn't just lose to the Jaguars. They didn't look good against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
But I gotta give the Bills the benefit of the doubt over the Giants. So if I was a bad man, I would have the Bills over the Giants.
Yeah,
me
too.
Man, I would have I would have bad man.
Me too. And this is I want to be clear, this is not a vote of confidence in the Bills, because I was thinking about picking the Giants. I genuinely was. But this is not a vote of confidence in the Bills that I'm picking them. This is more just to say, the Giants are a disaster. And they've just got so many injuries they're dealing with. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for them right now. Daniel Jones is hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just if the Bills lose to the Giants, then I think we can start talking about, they're not actually any good. But I don't see that happening, though.
Man, that would be 2 bad losses. I mean, they got some bad losses on their schedule already.
Yeah.
They lose to the Jets after Aaron Rodgers went down.
That is true, but the Giants are worse than the Jets.
Yeah, sure.
Joe says the Bills are a roller coaster, and that's true. I mean,
what kind of Linforce? Dragster?
I have no idea. I think they're probably the beast. Because there's a lot of ups and downs, and it's really kind of rickety the whole time. But at the end of the day, you get off the ride, and it was oh, hey, that was a good ride.
Pretty odd.
Yeah, but you also need to go to the ER when you're done too. All right. So last non-AFC North game, we got the Monday night matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Chargers, and this one's in LA. So I've been letting you go first the whole time. I'm going to go first here. These two teams are the same team. These are just the same fucking team. The difference is the Cowboys had all these expectations going into the year, and the Chargers necessarily didn't. But the actual result we're getting from these two teams is you've got quarterbacks who are kind of overrated, and then you've got teams that probably should be better than they are, but just don't really put the results on the field that they're supposed to. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys because I think they're better than the Chargers, but I'm not confident in that pick.
I accidentally dropped my headphones into my teeth, and I saw it on the Cowboys.
You dropped your headphones in your tea?
Yeah, this one right here. So, these headphones, man,
well, that would explain why your voice is muffled.
Wired headphones.
Yeah. I mean, I can hear you, but you're really quiet.
Turn all the way up. All right. Cowboys.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into these AFC North games, and then I got to get going because we're starting to push a little late here, and I got to get to work today. But let's start with the Ravens and the Titans. The Titans, who, by the way, are the Ravens' kryptonite historically.
You know what? that reason, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
You're taking the Ravens?
Yep. Yeah, I don't think Titans are good. Actually, you know what?
They kicked our ass.
Ravens.
Like that was the worst. Like that might have been the worst loss we had all year. The only reason the Browns loss is probably worse is just because it meant more than the Titans game meant.
Ravens.
But
I'm feeling.
yeah. You're going with the Ravens? I'm gonna go with the Titans. Because like I just don't think the Ravens are good. Like the Titans have impressed me. Like they're way better than I thought they would be. Ryan Tannehill has looked and obviously they're 2-3. They're not amazing, but they're better than I thought they were gonna be like competing for like the number 1 pick this year, and they're not. I think they have the personnel to beat the Ravens. And I mean, it's not like I'd bet the house on the Titans taking this game or anything like that. But I'm pretty confident that the Titans can probably take this game, especially since it's in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm saying Ravens having that good.
Yep. All right. So the Steelers are on bye this week. So all we got left is the Bengals and Browns game. Let's start with the Bengals game, which is the Bengals are hosting the Seahawks this week. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I'll be down. Yeah, I mean, I think the Seahawks, they take advantage of playing in a bad conference. I don't think the Seahawks that good. No, Joe Burrow still getting rhythm. I think Lamar should have a big game again. Yeah, I don't know what Bengals.
Right. So, the Seahawks are in the same conference as conference. Okay. They're in the same division as the 49ers, though. But then again, there's also the Cardinals and the Rams, which are, definitely not like amazing teams. But then again, the Seahawks got their asses kicked by the Rams in week 1.
Yeah, man.
So most recently they've completely destroyed the Giants, and then they didn't dominate, but they took care of business against the Panthers. Their only really impressive win of the year, I think, is against the Lions. And that was a really close game that I thought the Lions were going to pull away with at the end, but ultimately the Seahawks won that game. So I kind of agree with you. The Seahawks aren't super all that, but obviously this game is going to come down to, is Joe Burrow actually back to health, or was the Cardinals game an anomaly? So that's what this game is going to determine. If Joe Burrow's back, if the Bengals are like back, then the Bengals win this game. Like I don't have any doubt about that. I'm not even gonna like sit here and like talk about like, oh cool, they might do it, they might not do it. It depends 100% on Joe Burrow. And if he's back, then the Bengals win this game. If he struggles again, then the Bengals lose this game. It's that simple. Now from what I've seen, from everything I've heard, I'm getting the general feeling that Joe Burrow's back. I mean, like he's talking, he's got his confidence back, you can tell. And so I think he's like back, which means I'm taking the Bengals in this game.
Okay.
All right. And then last one, we got 49ers and Browns. Do you want me to go first, or you want?
Yeah, you go first. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. So I am going to take the 49ers because I don't feel I have to think too hard about it. I don't know quite what's up with Deshaun Watson, but I mean, there seems fairly likely like he won't play. And if Deshaun Watson doesn't play, y'all aren't winning. Like straight up. If he does play, maybe. But even then, the 49ers are a really good football team. So, like, y'all's defense is elite, but their offense is elite. But like your offense is not elite, and their defense is pretty good. So matchup-wise, the 49ers are just the better team.
Yep. What's the weather supposed to be like for that game, Weather in Cleveland on Sunday?
I have no idea. I can look it up though.
Okay, I just got this weird.
It's supposed to be cloudy.
No rain.
It'll be 55 and cloudy.
I can't even talk myself in it. I didn't even try to talk myself in it. I mean, like semi-talk myself in it.
What's crazy? According to the weather report that I'm seeing right now, every single day in Cleveland, it's supposed to rain, except for Sunday.
Now I can't be the opposite for once. Damn it. Well, the Bermuda Triangle football weather. You know, we're going
Yeah, I
Christian
think
McCaffrey gonna have 4 touchdowns.
I don't know about that. I think the Browns defense does a pretty good job of keeping the 49ers offense in check, but I just don't think that the Browns offense is going to be able to keep up at all. And so I think it's probably going to be a low scoring game, but the 49ers are going to take it.
I don't think it's going to be low scoring. The 49ers are going to smack us.
Well, okay, so to be clear, I'm not saying the 49ers aren't going to smack you. But I think it's just like y'all are going to score like I think the Brown it's going to be like 20 to like 3 or something, like 20-7 maybe.
I don't think PJ Walker, there's no Chubb and there's no Watson. Where are we going to go offense from?
Kareem Hunt? Amari Cooper? PJ Walker.
Amari Cooper's. Yeah. 7 points. They get 7 points from me. That's it. 6. Missed field.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's gonna be like the Browns are gonna score like 3 or 7. It's gonna be one single score for the Browns the entire game, and I don't know if they get it in the end zone or not. But you know that's my prediction. And the 49ers, I think, are gonna like their offense isn't gonna be like clicking the whole game. I think they get like 20 points, and so it's gonna look like a blowout. But the reality is, I think the Browns defense is gonna play fairly well, and that offense is just gonna be completely useless.
I go in games on that.
Well, that sucks. That's a first.
I probably wouldn't go to games on that actually, but
I've never heard of you like choosing not to go to a game just because you don't want to.
No, I just don't see no reason to go to these games. Why? Go see my team get smacked by 25 points.
Go drink and
damn, I can't even mildly talk myself into this game. Nah, man. Browns fans, man. You hang out with negative Browns fans, they bring out your whole week.
No, that's what I'm saying. Hanging out with 49ers fans.
Nah, fuck them too. They all right.
You did that. You did that to me. When you came down to Cincinnati and went to a game and just like rubbed it in my face the whole week.
That was a Super Bowl. Give me that one.
Okay, that's fine. Although at the time we didn't know we were at the time it was looking like the season was falling apart. To be fair,
that was great. That was a great one. That was a really great day.
But anyway, yeah, like I said, I put the link to the Pick'em League in the comments. So if you haven't joined yet and you want to join, just go there and sign up. Those are our picks for the week. Let me catch up with some of these comments and we'll get out of here. Thomas next year is going to pick one game and get 100% right and not pick anything else. That's what Joe said.
More likely, that's that.
Joe says you need a new mic. So your mic's sounding a little, your audio sounding a little bit better now. But yeah, it was sounding rough there for a minute.
Yeah, I dropped my headphones in the tea.
Yeah,
I spilled the tea.
Joe said you sound like you're on a payphone at a Cleveland Municipal telling your mom that they're ready in 1988.
Hey man, the year.
You weren't even alive.
6 years. Yep, 6 years before I was born, 1988. Shout out to Ron Radio.
That year.
Born in the USA.
Please deposit another 10 cents to continue this call. Joe's just roasting your audio right now.
Born in the USA. Well, don't drop your headphones in the tea.
So Joe actually looks like he pretty much agrees with exactly what I said, except for the fact that Joe, it's not supposed to rain on Sunday. But other than that, he said Browns. Oh no, he said Browns 17. So he's predicting the Browns win. There you go, Joe. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
I don't see the Browns defense slowing down the 49ers offense that much.
I have this weird feeling they won't pull it out. No, I don't even know. Browns, the 49ers by 25.
Who is winning the league so far? It's a good question, Joe. Let me check. Leaderboard. Here we go.
I think Kyle might be in first place.
I don't think I am, actually. I'm in second place. So actually, well, no. I think I am in first place. I think these metrics are off because I've got the best record at 49-27. It's saying the person who's in first right now, the person who it's got in first right now, and it's got me tied for first. But the person who's in first right now has a record of 49-28. So they picked one more game than I did, but they picked it wrong. So I'm not exactly sure who that is though. Thomas, have you been making your picks? Because there's two unnamed entries in here, and one of them is this one that's like tied with me, and then there's the other one that's 10-5, and at the bottom of the league, and it's mostly just because they haven't been making picks, and like and then there's another one that hasn't been making any picks.
Okay, I've been making picks. I'm probably a 10-5 team. I would already guess.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I made about. I'm not picks. I'm coming back.
All right. And then so the rest of the league. So Majestic YT is is behind me and whoever the other team is. That's 49-28. Majestic YT's got 45-19 on the year.
Is it Majestic White Tea or is it Majestic White?
I have no idea. I've never really asked them. It just says YT. I don't know. I'll ask him next time I talk to him.
Majestic White.
Yeah, Mikey's sitting at 22-24 on the year. Galladees is 18-14. Somehow Mikey's ahead of him, despite Galladees having a winning record and Mikey having a losing record. But whatever. All right. Joe says the Browns do good against pocket quarterbacks, and that is fair enough. But like I'm just saying Christian McCaffrey. Okay, I'm just saying George Kittle. I'm just saying that's a hell of a Brandon Ayuk. I'm just saying that's a hell of a
TJ Walker.
No, I'm talking about the offense of the 49ers.
No, I'm talking about the defense of the 49ers too. TJ Walker.
Yeah, but Joe's talking about how they do well against pocket quarterbacks. And I'm like, yeah, but this is a different type of situation, though. But yeah. I mean, you never know. Maybe like if the 49ers win, then how about let's do this. If the 49ers win, let's have Joe on next week so he can gloat. Or no, if the Browns win, let's have Joe on so he can gloat.
All right, cool. Deal.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much going to be it then, I think, for this episode, guys. I got to get going to work soon. But I appreciate all of y'all watching. You can always catch more of what I do at CalPhelps92 on Twitter, Facebook.com/ThePhelps. Butt Fumble Sports, Battle of Ohio podcast is currently only available on my channel, but I'm looking into a plugin that I can put on OBS to get it back on its own channel. But I haven't been keeping up with it, but I do have a TikTok, and I want to put stuff up. I just got to actually do it. Thinking about opening an Instagram too, and various different things. But that's where you can find me right now. Thomas, you can find him at T_star94 on Twitter and Twitter and Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And then the Thomas J Network on YouTube and TikTok. Beyond that, though, that's all we got for this week. So I will leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!
Go Browns!